Libra, welcome to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast for October of 2015. My name is Athen. So this is, of course, for Sidereal Astrology. If you're new to this form or new to this channel, be sure to check the description down below because your sign might be different and you'll want to make sure you're watching for the appropriate video. So Libra, let's go ahead and have a look at what's going on for you this month. Now, October is a very busy month in the astrology, so I'm only going to talk about the most important things. If you want more information, do watch the weeklies as the weeks progress through October, and that'll give you more detailed insight. But starting with the most important things first, I'm going to look at the first half of this month and then look at the second half because it's kind of split up that way in the astrology. The first half has Saturn transiting back into Scorpio, where he's going to be staying for the next 2 years, which is your second house of finances, resources, and material values. So here, Saturn is, of course, the planet of hard work and discipline. So if it is on the financial sphere for these next couple of years, and you should have gotten an inclination of this during the early part of this year and the tail end of last year when Saturn went into Scorpio, but then went retrograde back out. So now he's going back in. So look to that time period to get an idea of what this felt for you personally. But it is about taking your values very seriously, and that might very well be the financial or material assets of your life. And, you know, being pragmatic, being disciplined, a dollar saved is a dollar earned kind of thing. That's a lot like how Saturn operates. And people can make it, you know, tremendous amount of wealth when Saturn is in their second house. It's just a matter of your own personal association with, do you see Saturn as restriction, or do you see it as an opportunity to save and to do the more long-term pragmatic thing? So that's going to be very important, and through this you guys will be developing a strong sense of your sense of self-esteem and self-worth as you progress through the more mature approaches to attaining your values in life. So that's going to be a shift, and again, depending on your personal chart, you'll be noticing this at different times. It's going to be over the next couple months is how you'll be feeling it, but you should notice that shift here this first half of October. Now, while that's taking place, Saturn is sextiling up to the North Node, so there is a lot of emphasis here on your 12th house. Now, the solar eclipse last month, setting the stage for this month, took place in your 11th. So there should have been a lot of new beginnings relating to the collective things, group things, organizational aspects of life, maybe with your friends, your local community, things like that. It could be technological and progressive, depends on your personal chart. But anyways, that is the major transformations which are now going into the grounding elements of that, which is Virgo, and for you, the 12th house. So it's seeing those ideals and visions for the greater good, for the world or for your community, and starting to realize that there is, of course, the deeper aspects of life. There is spirituality, there is connecting to all that is, and this is an area of life that you guys take quite disciplined, you know, quite seriously, with it being in Virgo. So the emphasis here is where it's going to start to unfold. We're going to have the new moon here in the 12th house, and questions like, are you getting enough rest? Are you getting enough relaxation, alone time? You know, do you have that connection to you know, God and the now moment, or the creator, however you see that, and that kind of thing. So you're probably already noticing this coming into this month because the sun is already here, Mercury is already here. You're learning perhaps quite a bit about this with Mercury going retrograde. So those are some things, but especially from about mid-time of the month onward, once we have that new moon, there is a lot shifting up here for you. So anyways, it's supportive this early part of the month with Saturn. So I think there is some good discipline to continue with your spiritual growth, which has been the case over the past couple of years with the North Node transiting this 12th house of yours. And you can find that this early part a good opportunity to, you know, get the discipline or take that alone time and just really take the actions necessary to have that spiritual time out. So while that's taking place, Mercury is actually, like I said, going retrograde, and then on the 9th, he's going to go direct. And when he does, he conjoins up to that North Node. So there's a lot to be learned this month about our life path. And so for you, the spiritual path, and all of the stuff that you've learned during this Mercury retrograde of the past few weeks, now implementing it. And you'll notice implementation such as, and the thing is about the 12th house is it's more kind of non-implementation is the interesting thing of that. It could be just making sure you're taking it easy, you know, and maybe even listening to your dreams. You know, a lot of times with Mercury retrograde, just a lot of information coming in through the dream space, and then you can apply that in the daily sphere of things. So that's going to be a shift, and it'll be a life path shift, and it's all again relating to that 12th house. From the 5th to the 8th, Mars will be opposing up to Neptune. It's a pretty spiritual month, but especially for you Libras, because you already have that 12th house activity. Here the spirituality is about your self-expression. Neptune in the 5th house has been helping you guys come from a place like your heart center, or from the now moment, from a spiritual place, whatever you want to call it, to express yourself. A lot of you might be expressing a lot of these spiritual ideas, spiritual truths, and things like that, and really realizing the importance of having this sort of guidance to your passions in life. And that's Neptune in the 5th, and that energy is going to be opposing up to all of this active energy, which is still very active this month with your groups, friends, community-related things, ideals. And it's about taking it easy with that, having the faith and trust that everything is unfolding as it is and is meant to be with the 11th house, because Mars is our action, it's our drive, it's our ambitions. And for you, it's relationships too. So it's, allowing relationships to be how they are, having the faith and trust that everything is unfolding as it should in that area, as well as whatever it is you're working on in this organizational or progressive area of your chart. So that's going to be important. And then from the 6th to the 16th, Jupiter will be trining up to Pluto. This is also very important. A lot of important aspects this month. So Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, has been changing your ideas. This is the 3rd house. So over the past many years, you guys have probably been conveying, messages and thinking about things in a very deep and real sense, or at least you can be. And there's been this constant change and renewal of how you see things, how you think, and even how you communicate. And that can be very profound, very deep communications when done in a compassionate and healthy way. So that's going to be very supportive this early part of the month, when Pluto trines up to all of these fast-moving planets into your 11th. So especially with Jupiter, you should have plenty of opportunities to expand your horizons involving those ideals and community-related things. And this is all about applying those possibilities into something real. And Pluto can help you do that. Pluto can help you get rid of all the old garbage of the 11th house and make way for the new stuff, and then constructively build upon a new foundation that is relating to the things that you feel the world needs, or your community needs, or you just feel is something that could benefit the world in some way. So that's Jupiter trining up to Pluto, very powerful transit. Of course, Jupiter in your personal chart does rule your routine, so you could find that your routines could be very powerful this month, as well as those communications as well. So moving on from the 10th to the 11th, Venus is going to be squaring up to Saturn. So this is important for you Libras because it is your ruler. So this sort of early middle part of the month, be patient, take it slow, one step at a time, especially involving these 11th house matters and the financial things or material things that you might be involved with. It's a squaring of energy, which implies a sort of implementation. So seeing those ideals, being patient, and working with whatever it is that you're starting to lay foundations with the material and financial aspects of things. Now on the 12th, we have the new moon, and it's a very important new moon because it's forming some important aspects. It's going to be essentially joining up to this T-square between Pluto and Uranus, which has been going on. And so it's going to be joining that T-square, forming it, and opposing up to that Uranus and squaring up to Pluto. So it's a challenging new moon, and the challenge here is about you perhaps conveying ideas, sharing the truth of the matter, or changing the way you see things, your outlook on life, which has to then be integrated into all these new spiritual unfoldments which are happening and have been happening for you. And also implementing, too, the importance of having independence and freedom in your everyday experiences, maybe at work or with the routine and health. That's been Neptune in your 6th house, is helping you have a sort of daily activity that is free to you, and you can be your true self. So the challenge is to bring in that freedom into, that routine and stuff into the spiritual sphere, because again, this is the non-work, this is the non-routine, this is the spiritual timeout, the dreams, the sleeping, is metaphoric for that. and vice versa. This here, can use and can be implemented, the spiritual energy. So it's all about bringing them into balance, bringing them together. How can you bring more of that spiritual time into the routines, which will then give you more freedom in your daily experiences, and vice versa? How can you implement more grounded maturity and discipline into the spiritual realm, so that maybe you are doing things like meditating or yoga that do take that discipline to do, yet can be very, very powerful in relaxation and in spiritual connection because of the nature of what they are. So that's some things to consider. And again, I think being very patient too with the ideas and transformational stuff with your mind, being open to new ideas is really, really key with this. Applying your philosophy in a grounded way is important as well. And you can find all that very constructive. The T-square can be a very constructive time of implementing those ideas into, in your case, a spiritual reality. So that's the new moon. Then we're going into the second half of the month. Mars trines up to Pluto from the 14th to the 19th. And so this is very nice. Pluto is, again, transformation, change. Mars is about action. So you can really implement, these ideas or whatever it is here with your mind into the 11th house, organizational group stuff. And your motivation should be quite strong. Your relationships could be changing in a very positive way this month. And I say that especially in the positive sense because Mars is going to be conjoining up to Jupiter, which only happens about once every 2.5 years. So very significant time for you, relationships, and expanding on that level, seeing the possibilities with that. It's also nice for the financial things too, since Mars rules your second house of Scorpio. So there, the second half of the month, you could notice, an increase there. Again, Saturn is still helping you refine and stay disciplined, but there could be some nice things expanding. And of course, it depends on your personal chart to the extent or whether it even happens at all, but it is certainly a possibility for most of you. So that is that expansion. And then from the 16th and 17th, Venus will be opposing up to Neptune. So here it's a spiritual time like it has been these past couple months with all these planets opposing Neptune. But here with your ruler, it becomes very important this middle part of the month for you to have that rest, take that step back. Maybe you don't have everything figured out in terms of what you're creating or how you're expressing or whatever, and that's fine. Having the faith and trust that everything is being expressed and is unfolding and how it should. And through that, naturally, it can be a very relaxing, very spiritual time when you do have that faith and trust. That's especially important the 16th and 17th, and you can find that, again, very spiritual. There's a lot of this spiritual energy for you. Now, let's go ahead and jump to the next most important things, which will be here on the 23rd. Through the 25th, Venus is going to be trining up to Pluto. So here, at the tail end of the month, this is where you start to, maybe because of the spiritual activities or whatever it is for you personally, do step into a tremendous amount of power, and the flow of your communications really starts to get stronger. Venus in harmonious aspect up to Pluto. For you, it's who you are, it's your identity, very powerful. Communications probably flowing quite nicely for you. At the same time, around the 25th, Mercury does oppose up to Neptune. So there is this, or Uranus, excuse me, Mercury opposes up to Uranus. So again, the same theme about balancing these practical spiritual things with whatever it is you're involved with on a daily level. Getting rid of some old garbage about routine and daily activities. Could be viewpoints or whatever, with the South Node still transiting Pisces for you. But that, in a nutshell, can create more freedom for you to enjoy more independence at work or in your daily experiences. Now, Venus then conjoins up to Jupiter. So at the very end of the month, around the 25th, you guys should be feeling quite optimistic, quite positive. This can be a new sense of spirit, new expansion to your horizons, opening your horizons. And yeah, so that's very powerful. Venus does, of course, rule your 8th house as well. So it could be very deep spiritual understandings about yourself and wisdom, and maybe sharing that wisdom with the group or community, and more opportunities there expanding for those 11th house activities also. Then to cap off the month on the 27th, we've got the full moon happening in Aries. And this is all about relationships. So over the past 6 months, if you guys started anything new about relationships, whether it's concepts, ideas, or literally a new relationship, or just a new sphere on how you view relationships, this is the culminating point now from the past 6 months. So in either case, though, an awareness of the the relationship sphere, and that should be quite energetic for you, actually. So seeing it, implementing it, the energies are high there, and it could certainly be culminations in that sector. Now, at the very end of the month and going into November, Venus is going to be very close to Mars. So I just want to say, especially because you guys have that ruler Venus, as you go into November, you should be quite motivated, quite driven, quite assertive, actually, which has been the case since Venus has been very close to Mars and actually went over Mars. I think it was a couple months ago. From October, but here it is again. Should be a lot of energy, a lot of drive. Mars is somewhat at the top of your chart, although things are spiritual. There is a lot of active energy, and I think you'll be feeling that the most at the end of the month. So Libra, have a good one. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Thanks for watching. If you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. You can click the link down below, and I will see you all next time. Take care.